Is it safe to eat chicken from KFC? And it's what happened at the Braamfontein branch of KFC, what normally happens at all branches of KFC? Is KFC Africa's apology for washing chicken on the floor a mere public relations exercise? And how much has this incident impacted the entire KFC brand? What time is it? It's question time. Hello and welcome to the show. My name is Mpho Tsedu. The owner of Johannesburg's Braamfontein KFC restaurant has been instructed to stop the policy relating to discarded chicken. This after pictures of staff washing chicken on the floor went viral. In reaction, the staff immediately closed the store in order to investigate. Meanwhile, the National Consumer Commission is probing the matter so as to gain a clear understanding of the incident. But is the Consumer Commission likely to impose any penalties? A reminder that this is a live program, and therefore you can air your views on the following numbers: 011 714 6841, 6842 or 6843. My guests today, Mr. Ibrahim Mohammed, who is a commissioner at the National Consumer Commission. But also joining us on the line is Doug Smart, who is KFC Africa Managing Director. Gentlemen, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, and thank you for having us on your show.
Doug, let me start with you. Is it safe to eat your chicken?
Board, I have to say an emphatic yes to that question. KFC is a global brand with 18,000 restaurants around the world. We have to take food safety very, very seriously, and we do. And I've got to tell you that South African KFC is among the best in the world. So this has certainly been a case which has really broken our hearts, which I suppose is the reason for our apology. But it is always safe to eat KFC chicken.
But had it not gone viral, I don't think people would have known that things like, what we saw do happen.
It's true and point, and we did not know either, right, that was happening. Now, I think I've made it clear enough during various press interviews during the week. We are 100% confident right from day one when we started our investigation that particular chicken at Braamfontein store was what we call damaged chicken. It was never, ever intended for consumers. The big question that was asked on the web and on Twitter, everywhere else, is why would you wash chicken that you're going to throw away? And the answer to that was really that the staff members were trying to hide the fact that they had already breaded the chicken that they were going to throw away, and they were not meant to do that according to their franchisee, so they were washing the breading off.
So we should consider that to have just been one of those isolated incidents where, like you're saying, staff members were trying to hide perhaps the fact that they had done something which they were not supposed to do?
Yes and no. It certainly was, a very unusual case. We couldn't almost believe the circumstances as we found out about them. But it was a consequence of a new policy that franchise owner had instituted about 4 weeks prior to that event. And that policy instructed people in the kitchens, our cooks, that they should find any, generally our damaged chicken takes the form of broken drumsticks or perhaps bruised pieces, etc. They should find it before breading, and if he finds pieces that are breaded, it's an indication to him that they have not done so. So it was that policy, in our view, that caused that behavior, and we have immediately, and I've got to say our franchisee agreed very quickly to remove and change that additional policy.
I see. So how do we know that the chicken that was washed, on the street? Well, I don't know if it's on the street, if it's a streetwise actually. But how do we know that that streetwise didn't end up on the shelves?
Look, we're very confident of this, and in fact, we had several media journalists out to show them the processes. In fact, we invited SABC. We had a tour of the place and other places on Monday, but you guys were unable to be there. But there are very, very clearly marked bins in this restaurant organization, which are kept in the freezer, white tubs. In fact, same white plastic tubs that were on the video. And what this franchisee actually does, which is a little unusual, that he or his organization collects the discarded chicken from all of his restaurants, which number 23. He collects all of them for tallying and record keeping, and many of them actually qualify for credit for. Okay. So if we have broken drumsticks, for example, he can claim a credit from our suppliers. So we have records, or he has records, which we have been able to see, that show very clearly that this chicken was kept and, in fact, not given back to consumers.
Okay. So what is going to happen to him or to that franchise? Nothing.
No. So, look, we do believe that this is very much a case of unintended consequences. And what I mean by that is, when he issued his policy, he only had good intentions, and that was for his team members to follow the rules explicitly. The team members themselves were reacting to the policy, but unfortunately, in our view, they certainly weren't doing the right thing by the customer, and ultimately by washing that outside, the breading off, they have done terrible damage to the brand. And so we have written him a very firm, it's almost like a legal letter from us to tell him that he's brought the brand into disrepute and he's accountable for that. And then we have worked with him to quickly change the policies which we believed were affecting this. They were his own policies. And then he himself will meet with the employees involved, because whether or not his policy, I suppose, was leading to that behavior, there is no manual or no policy in any KFC that says it's okay to wash any chicken on the floor. And, so he will meet with them and deal with that with those particular employees too.
So, in simple English, nothing is going to happen to him?
No. The letter that we've given him for is actually an extremely serious letter. It actually allows us to take his franchise away if we have other issues. It's
well, he's still got 22 left, so I don't think
it allows us to take all of them away. It allows us to take all of them away. Okay? That's the nature of our system. But it is very important to note that we are convinced that the franchisee himself had no ill intentions, and this was an unintended consequence. Can I tell you what we've done for our whole system since it broke last week? Because I think it's significant.
Okay.
So we had an emergency franchisee meeting today in Paul. This is breaking news.
Okay.
So we invited our 48 franchisees from in South Africa and Sub-Saharan Africa to our head office in Braamfontein today. We only had 3 non-attendees who will follow up with personally, but they all came, which is an unprecedented emergency meeting. And at that meeting, we shared with them all of the events that we have had in the last week. And we've got 4 actions that we're taking as a consequence, which hopefully will make you and your viewers a lot happier about what KFC is doing about this.
So, Doug, wait a minute. You're saying
yes,
how many franchises or franchisees attended?
45. How
many franchises do you have in South Africa?
We have 48 franchisees in South Africa. Many of our franchisees own multiple stores. We have about 800 stores.
So 45 people own all of KFC in South Africa?
It's a true story. Yes, indeed.
That's very bad, eh?
Indeed. Well, we think it's very good because they're a professional, big organization.
Okay.
They can run the...
Okay,
but
Doug.
What we've done...
Yes. Go ahead quickly.
I'm still here.
Yeah, go ahead quickly. Yeah, just finish up your point.
So we've set up a whistleblower hotline for staff members to call us if they find anything in their restaurants that they think is doing the wrong thing by the customer, that they're too scared to tell their management. They can tell us directly. So it's an anonymous whistleblower hotline. Every franchisee will issue a letter to their staff saying it's unacceptable for you to do. You'll never be punished for doing the right thing by the customer. Right. So that's another resolution.
Okay.
We're doing. One more thing. We're doing some web training with all of our 28,000 employees, 28,000 of them. It's basically reinforcing them about doing the right thing by the customer. They'll be rolled out by the end of June.
Okay. Doug, let me thank you for the time. I hope you will really, get time to go beyond this streetwise debacle.
Thank you very much, Paul. I appreciate that.
You're welcome. We're going to take a quick break. When we return, we'll continue this show. You can call us. The number to dial is 011-714-6841, 6842, 6843. Let's get to hear your views around the matter. This is Question Time. Please don't go away.
Sup, peeps? I heard some people don't bother voting. They say it makes no difference. If only they knew. Nearly 400 councillors won by fewer than 250 votes in the last local elections. One vote is all it takes to win an award, and that one vote is mine. Boom!
Welcome back. You're still watching Question Time. My guest today, Mr. Ibrahim Mohammed, who is the Commissioner of the National Consumer Council. And earlier on, we had Doug Smart, who is the KFC Managing Director, or KFC Africa Managing Director. Now, perhaps before I even come to you, there's Zinzi on the line. Zinzi, welcome to Question Time. Zinzi? Zinzi? Okay, Zinzi is not there. As a commission, what was your reaction when you heard of this?
I think as all South Africans, we were appalled at what we saw. I was contacted by my media liaison officer,
Yes.
who brought to me this video that was screened on your TVs now, on your show
Yes.
now. And I could not believe
Yes.
what I saw. I immediately asked the media liaison officer to be in touch with whoever it was necessary for us to have a meeting, an immediate meeting with KFC. We contacted the head office of KFC, and we did indeed have a meeting on Monday the 11th,
Okay.
past Monday. They came to see us. Together, it was Mr. Doug Smart who had just
Yes.
spoken, and it was the owner of the franchise that was the affected franchise. And they gave us their explanation.
Okay.
And what had happened was they indicated much of what he said he'd already said in the press and on the radio and so on. And essentially that this was a new policy that was introduced as an additional measure by the franchisor, franchisee. And that staff didn't want to be caught out by not having followed the policy, therefore washed the meat. What our concern was, firstly, whether those pieces of meat that we saw on the floor was going to be found itself back onto the tables where they were going to be used for human consumption. And according to Mr. Smart and the franchisee, that was not the case. They indicated that that meat was discarded meat and that they were going to be taken to farms for animal feed or something of that nature.
Hold the thought there. Eunice, you're in Pretoria. Welcome.
Hello, Mutimpo and your guest in the studio.
Yes.
Because now the matter is broken up and we have seen it on camera. I'm working in the health field. Let me tell you, Neng.
Yes.
I would just make a general advice to the South Africans. Most of the things in South Africa are commercial than health. If there was no camera, nobody was going to tell a South African anything. So the food that's made at home is the best. I will say it as it is at pinpoint level. A lot of things are not transparent. This fast food, they even cause cancer. The doctors do it. You can call Mutuality, I mean the Department of Health, but they are afraid to tell the community. They just want the money. There's no transparency. Thank you, Mpo.
But Eunice, before you go, are you saying that the food that, the fast food is not healthy?
I said 100%. Chairperson, I cannot go into details, but we need to teach people more about the food that's healthy for them and that's not healthy for them. Okay. So the reason why we cannot just be careless about these talks is because there are people that are working there. So you're thinking, if they stop there, where are they going?
Okay.
So people must use a lot of things with precaution, but the food that you prepare at home is better than anything else anyway.
Thank you very much, Eunice. Now, as a commission, what are you going to do, right? You have met and all that. Is there anything that's going to happen? We've already heard what the GM says, on behalf of KFC Africa. But as a commission?
Yes, the commission is concerned about, firstly, the commission is always guided by the prescripts of the Consumer Protection Act.
Yes.
And there are standards for quality and safety. So the Commission is concerned about two things here, and that is the product safety and the product quality. Mm-hmm. Now, in terms of the Consumer Protection Act, a consumer is entitled to good quality and good and safety.
Fine, that is according to the Act, and that is what a consumer is entitled to.
Yeah.
In the event that that has not happened, what happens?
What would happen is, it depends case by case, right? In KFC's case, for instance, what has happened? At the end of the meeting, I'm not going to talk about what transpired during the meeting, but at the end of the meeting, it was agreed that KFC would provide, firstly, a report on what they call their investigation into the matter. And then they are going to provide us with their, what we call SOPs, Standard Operating Procedures.
Yes.
That is the procedure from start to finish, as to exactly what happens to the meat when it arrives, how it is handled, until it is served to the consumer on the table. So that is the Standard Operating Procedures, and in addition, we've also asked for a copy of, or for information on this new process or this new policy that they were talking about. Now, they've undertaken to give us these documents or this information.
Yeah, but obviously the documents are okay. I mean, they should be looking good, but this is not something that is documented.
No, what we are saying is we need to establish whether, in fact, they followed proper process. Whether, in fact, they meet with the standards for quality and the standards for safety.
Okay.
Now, there are set standards in the Act. There are standards set by the Department of Health and the Standards Act and so on.
If they have not followed them, what are you going to do?
What would happen is the Commission would, after looking at all those documents and all the information, this is the information gathering process, the Commission would look at all the information, make an assessment of what needs to happen.
Okay. Hold the thought there.
Okay.
I want to take you on this investigations. Yeah. Tony, you are in Pretoria.
Hello, Mpo. How are you, sir?
I'm doing very well. Thanks for calling.
Thank you very much for a good show. I watch you every day.
Thank you very much, my brother.
Yeah. Mpo, unfortunately, we live in times where money dictates people's morals. What happened? I was listening to the
MD.
Yes, of Africa.
Yeah.
He's saying they're not going to do nothing to that person.
Yeah.
He gave reasons, but it does not make sense to wash meat on the ground in a meat selling, business. It does not make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, like sometimes we are lucky. This kind of things are caught on record, but I'm sure this is very much happening every day in many businesses. Because of today, people's conscience, people's morals are dictated by profit, and it is very much unfortunate.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Tony. Now, the Commission, what are you going to do in the event that there's been some discrepancies?
The Commission will then decide whether or not to conduct an investigation, an in-depth investigation.
What's the worst that can happen? I hear you and the investigations and the probings and all that.
Yes. After the investigation, what could happen is we could refer the matter to the National Consumer Tribunal. Righto? We could do that. We could also issue a compliance notice to KFC to force them to comply with what we require them to comply with to meet the standards and the quality assurances and so on. But if KFC persists in conducting themselves contrary to a compliance order, which we trust will not be necessary, then we can go to the tribunal to have their conduct declared prohibited conduct.
What I wanted to check was whether you have any powers actually to do anything. And what I'm getting, it doesn't sound like you have any powers to do anything here. You still have to refer to other tribunals.
We're not an adjudicative body.
Okay, hold the thought there. Right. Let's hear what Bongani has to say. Bongani, you're in Pretoria.
Yes, it's Bongani here from Pretoria. How are you, gentlemen?
We're doing well, thanks for asking.
Thank you very much. It's a great show. We like how you put the issues out there for the public.
Thank you.
Yes, my question, I'm not sure whether is it related to what you guys talking about, but it was about the franchises. You said there were like 45 people who owning the rest of 736 franchises. Is that true?
Well, he said 48 own all in South Africa. We don't know how many they are, actually.
Oh.
But all of them.
Really?
They are owned by 48 people.
Oh, okay. No, thank you very much, and enjoy your day further, gentlemen.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Now, you say you want to contest that you have powers.
I'm saying that we can issue a compliance notice, which is a power that we have. We can force companies or businesses, errand businesses, to comply with the law.
But there's a lot of non-compliance happening. I'm sure you would agree with me on that one.
Well, there is non-compliance occurring, yes, but we could only investigate that which we know about or that which is brought to our attention. For instance, let me give you an example of what we did last year with regards to the general meat investigation.
Okay. Whilst I want you to tell me about that story.
Yeah.
But let's just take Abel. Abel, you are in Limpopo?
Hi, Mposedu. I'm actually watching your show now.
Thank you.
This takes me back to the times when my dad used to own like butcheries back then, like early in the 80s. He used to have like inspectors coming in to inspect like the butcheries. If there's any, anything that's rotten in the fridges, they would actually like shut you down until you rectified that. But now lately we don't see that happening. I mean, you've been to a lot of fast food places where you find that even the smell, you can smell like red pea, you can smell a lot of things in those shops.
Yes.
What has happened to that department? Is the health department doing anything about that? Can we get clarity on that, please?
Okay. Whose responsibility will it be? But tell me also about this, what was it?
Meat.
Yes, the meat.
Yes. I don't know, consumers would recall that a while back there was a scandal with regards to meat.
Yes.
And that donkey meat was found in meat products and so on. And the Commission conducted a major investigation into whether meat was being adulterated or whether there was cross-contamination with regards to, when meat is cut in a butcher. They cut beef, and they use the same machine to cut meat.
Yeah, so what did you do?
So what we did is we compiled a report because we found this was a general investigation. It wasn't an investigation into any particular company or any particular butcher.
Yes.
Right. It was a general investigation around meat and meat products and whether there was a contamination of meat in South Africa. Right. So what we did is we issued a report, and as a result of our investigation, there were new regulations passed that dealt with the labeling issue and how meat products should be labeled in this country.
Okay, now, just a moment. I have a problem with these reports and investigations that happen and nothing concrete ends up happening, right? But I hope we'll have time to talk more about this. We have run out of time, unfortunately, for today.
Well, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Because remember that investigations are important to establish.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
That was question time for today. A big thank you to my guest and to you for watching the show. Have yourself a wonderful time. Goodbye.